Yeah, welcome back. 81. Well, yeah, shout out to next week when week from now, and I'll be posting, a different kind of video again, because I will be going through hell. And also, it's my sibling's birthday. Yeah. Sorry, there's a symbol on the top of YouTube. I didn't know what it was. Still don't, but I don't care anymore. I think it's about a sports thing, and I'm not a sports person. I wanted to see because he might hear out, because I needed to hear what he says. And for some reason, a hoodie really muffles out things, huh? Did I mention the food review? I don't know. But yeah, what happened was it was a few weeks ago. I was eating this breakfast sandwich, right? And I got through half of it, and my body's like, don't eat this. It started from bite one, but, and then around 3/4, I realized, I'm like, I can't even keep eating this. I literally cannot eat this. But then I realized that I need to start listening to when my body's like, don't eat this, because last time my body had a don't eat this, and I didn't listen. I got super violently sick. All night, and I thought I would have to go to the hospital. Fun. But I didn't, so don't worry. But yeah, so anyways, I thought I had to go to the hospital. But so what happened was I started being like, you know what, I should just listen to my body. If my body says don't eat something, I'm just not going to do it. And then every time it happens, I'm like, oh, but I feel guilty. I'm like, I shouldn't feel guilty about not wanting to eat something, especially if I'm scared it's going to get me sick. Like, I'm allergic to things. I carry EpiPens for a reason, you know? Anyways, so what happened was I was eating the sandwich, and around 3/4 of the way through, I'm like, I can't eat this. So I was wondering, like, what was in it, blah, blah, blah. And I realized it didn't have anything that I was allergic to, so I'm like, I don't know. So finally, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to, like, look on the actual website instead of looking at the looking at just the box. What I did is I went to their website, and I was starting to look at things, and I wanted to kind of look at reviews, and so I was really trying to get to the bottom of, like, why did it make me sick? Because I literally spat out the sandwich because I just couldn't handle it anymore. So what happened was I looked at the review, and this one review was from a guy named Brian. Yeah, Brian. And maybe I'll put it here. So what happened was this guy named Brian said something along the lines of, you know what, it's so much. But I think it started with, these are great breakfast sandwiches. Really good carb count for him, his breakfast, and blah blah. And I'm like, I just gotta go gluten free, okay, chill. Blah blah. And then he goes, unlike those obese Americans who eat, I don't even remember what they're called, the breakfast sandwiches, like candy. I eat this because I'm so healthy, blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, and this is a perfect breakfast sandwich for this. And then he goes, how are you, like, I'm losing weight, how are you doing? And I think it was like Ashley or something. And I was like, okay, is that a personal thing? Is he like personally like has Ashley? Like, is this a weird not meta, but like weird review to someone in his life? I scroll down, the next comment, like down, I think there's like one, like small one in between. There was a lady, and I'll put the review here as well. That next one down had was just being like, hey, this bread sucks, I don't like it, it didn't heat well, it sucks, it just isn't good, rather eat something else. Yeah, named Ashley the same way. So I'm like, is this guy now talking about this other reviewer? Does he know this reviewer? Is he just saying things? Because if I replied, hey, I literally couldn't eat it because I started getting sick and I have no idea why, it seems like it was because of some ingredients, but I guess I don't know it. Would he have been like, oh, well, at least I'm healthy, to like my review? Like, it made no sense. So I'm just like, okay. So that was really humorous to me. I was just like, yeah, you know, at least I'm losing weight. And I'm like, okay. Again, gluten-free breakfast sandwich. Also, I don't know about you, and I don't know about like the sandwich, maybe they add things to it to make it like healthier, but like, make yourself some scrambled eggs, dude. Just make yourself scrambled. 1 second, sorry. Just like make yourself some scrambled eggs. I don't know why I touched the phone, but just like make yourself scrambled eggs, a muffin, and like a sausage. Like, if you want to be so, like, this guy's like, oh, it's healthy, blah blah. I'm like, just make yourself breakfast, chill. I can't believe he, like, Ethan is just still in the sauna machine, and I'm just like, is it weird? But yeah, I saw this video of a trans guy. He was just chatting. It wasn't really anything. He was talking about his top surgery, and the person not understanding what he was talking about, blah blah blah. It was very funny. However, I'm like, dang, I wish I looked that cool and I'm really that good and that natural on testosterone. And it's such a horrible thing to say, because like, when, so it I think the thing is, it's just like, he seems very comfortable, and like, that's the thing. I think a lot of times, like with trans people and stuff, or anybody, you go through this period of like awkwardness, you know, that like middle school awkwardness, to try to figure out how, you know, or like when you try to branch out in different fields, like branching out into different fashion. There's this moment of like awkwardness that you just are like, if you try to grow your hair out or cut it short, there will be moments of awkwardness. But and so I think that's a lot of times with like trans people too. Like, you're dealing with a lot of things like you gotta figure out. But I think that's like the thing that it's really like awful. It's just as awful that people will like use that against trans people. That, you know, like, if I don't know, something, even just as simple as, let's say I don't shave my face correctly. It's like, oh, suddenly, well, that proves that you're not a guy. It's like, no, it's proves that I never got taught how to shave my face. Not that I'm a guy. I bet you ask anybody that started shaving, they all went through, you know, a learning curve of how you do it. I know for a fact that all the people I know went through a learning curve of like when to shave, how, what products, what's good. I mean, friggin' only 4 years ago, 5 years ago, my dad learned what beard oil was. I'm like, you had a mustache my whole life. You had a beard, your dad before you has facial hair, and you never know what beard oil is? And he's like, it just absorbs so quickly. I'm like, yeah, it's dry as hell. So it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like, I think what I like most is that he just looked really casual and effortless. And I think that's something that's really cool and something that I strive for, which again is awful because that's just not how it goes. Like, you look like what you look like and you act like what you act like. And, you know, no one steps into perfectly into doing certain things. Especially if you're trying it, you know, by yourself or whatever. But, I hate that I just, like, there's just a cup with, like, 2 cups of pee in it. I actually don't know, I have no idea how big those bottle glass cups are. Yeah, I just decided to start watching, is it called Superstore? I decided to start watching it because I saw a few gifs or moments, and I'm like, you know what, sure, why the hell not? So I decided to watch it, and I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. I mean, there's a lot of fat jokes in it. A lot of fat jokes. Even just visual fat jokes in it. But, I mean, moving beyond that, it actually was not, like, one of the main cast is, I know the actor isn't in it, but, like, the character's in a wheelchair. Which obviously, why don't you just hire actual people with disabilities? But moving on from that, yeah, moving on from that, it's has the episode. What episode was that? I guess episode 2? No, it must have been the finale of season 1. Question mark? I guess. No. It's the 2nd episode of season 2. Anyways, yeah, they, like, the show was, like for trans people, and I was so shocked. I was waiting for a trans or a joke about being trans. I was waiting for it. I'm like, oh no, they just were laughing at. They were literally just laughing at this woman who was anti-trans. Like, she didn't like trans people using the bathroom, you know, that argument. And we're just like, literally, they were just like, the show played her as wrong. And that was very interesting. Also, it just brought up the point for me that Jonah, his followers are pretty anti-trans. I'm like, Jonah, buddy, you need to start blocking people. But yeah, no, I don't know. The fact that that's there is amazing. I know people talk to a very similar TV show with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Well, I guess similar, like work comedy kind of thing. With like, they were talking about how that was really good in the fact that they just brought up trans people in prison. That's not a good system. Like, and people were like, yes, this is good. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Well, so that's why it was so shocking to hear that in Superstore back in the second season, because I think it's on like, I don't know, maybe the 7th season. I have no idea. Okay, guys, I just started watching that. Okay, I needed something to watch before bed. And when this loads. But yeah, so I started watching it, and I don't know, I was just so surprised that they actually had that. And again, it's nowhere near perfect at all, nowhere near, but that was very surprising. Just to have just like casual, that's not okay, about being anti-trans, it's just like, that's not okay. And it just was like, oh. You know, and it was very, I know it showed other moments too, being, you know, woke and those like kind of things, that topical issues. But usually with comedies like that, it's like, oh, it's like, who's right? You don't know, it's up to you. But like in that, it was like, no, she's wrong. And I'm like, okay, yeah, make her wrong. Like, that was really, really surprising for me. But again, not perfect. A lot of visual fat jokes. Not audible. A lot of fat jokes. A lot of borderline jokes. Pro trans lives, which is again really something I never thought of would happen. Ooh, can I get my face dark? Ooh.